We're live. We're live. Good morning. Welcome to day 2 of the J2C Technology Show and Event. Well, with our vendors from Telestream, Panasonic, TVU, Toner Cable, as well as Imagine Communications, Cinemassive, Arista, and several others. What we're going to do is pan around to each of the booths to kind of give you an idea before we start into our each individual interview. So we have behind me is the Cinemassive, I'm sorry, not the Cinemassive, the Telestream booth. The Telestream has a tech video as well as the Telestream asset management and archiving solutions. Down to my left is the Panasonic, which we have the Kairos SMPTE 2110 production switcher, as well as 4K and 8K production. Down at the end of the room is Imagine Communications in the corner, and in the middle of the room we have Cinemassive for command and control rooms. We also have, down at the very end, we have Switch.io, virtualized switching. We have Equitus right beside them. We have TVU right here in the front. We have Arista over to the right. And then we have Toner Cable setting up right now, finishing up. And it's John Kip from Toner Cable.
Hello.
So with that, we're going to start with Telestream.
Bill Lawler with Telestream. I specialize in the tech video side of the company. So today we brought a few prisms and Tektronix WFM 2300, all SDI capable. The prisms are obviously also the IP 2110 solution that we offer in waveform monitors. They are always evolving, and this past release we introduced some new tool sets for the SDI realm, and they are ready for multi-in, so you can shade multiple cameras at the same time, and also multi-display, so you can have 8 tiles across multiple displays, which allow you to really harness the power of all the tool sets that are available. We also have a solution that we're showing that is for 2110 in the environment where master control or engineering needs to be able to have insight into multiple 2110 feeds and get monitoring by exception. So that is our InSpec 2110 product. Rich, do you want to take over with the Vantage products?
Yeah, so just mention a couple things here. So I'm Rich Andrews. I'm with the sort of the Telestream and the traditional Vantage side of the family. One of the big things we've got going on this year has been improvements to the Vantage product. That's our main sort of workflow, transcoding engine, things like that. A lot of improvements for handling higher grade content, 4K files, 8K files. Working with HDR and color conversion. We've added some additional options for standards conversions to the platform. Some great things to sort of expand Vantage and bring it into handling a lot of the newer content that we deal with. Big thing we're showing off here today is the Lightspeed Live product. Lightspeed Live exists both as a streaming platform as well as a capture platform. One of the main things we've got here is discussions about the capture platform, which we've recently, we've got a new version. We've added support for some 12G interfacing. We've got initial beta support for 2110. We are working on, here in a few months, we'll have some stuff out with beta for NMOS and some extra API controls for the 2110 interfacing. Live capture is really nice because you can sort of take a bunch of these 1RU appliances, stack them up, have a unified web page to monitor the input status on everything, control the captures. We've also got options for sort of a web-based scheduler to control everything. Options for live editing or sub-clipping while recording, so we can go ahead and just create a bunch of content as things are recording for immediate distro or sending over to editing. Other things are Glim 2.0. So Glim is our remote video player, so it's server-based, have all your content accessible, and then people can watch it remotely over low latency VPNs, or should I say low bandwidth VPNs, or other type of situations where you might have to have limited access and they wouldn't be able to watch the raw content directly. So Glim's a great engine for that. We'll have some of that here as well. So I think I'll go ahead and toss it over to Chris here on some Cumulate.
Hey guys, Chris Luther from Telestream. So Telestream earlier this year acquired two market-leading products, Diva, Front Porch Digital Diva or Eco Digital Diva, and then later on the Mastech products, which was FlashNet and Cumulate. That division is all about content storage management, or traditionally what we used to call archiving. So the preservation of media. The two products had quite a bit of overlap as they were competing products, but we've now capitalized on the differences between the two products, and we're continuing on that difference. So Diva being the preservation, so things like fixity and provenance and ensuring that in 30, 50, 100 years your content is still where it needs to be and easily accessible, searchable, findable. Moving that content to the appropriate tier of storage. So does it need to be on high-speed spinning disk, or can it go to an object storage or cloud storage or LTO tape, whatever that is. So moving that content between the tiers, transparent to the end users. Cumulate is a little bit more towards the MAM product management side of things, where you have the integration with the workflow. So continuing on that preservation, that storage, that keeping that content safe for decades. And with Cumulate, it's much easier to find it, trigger external workflows, and have that even more accessible, searchable, findable, and usable in a easy, convenient manner. And that's about it. If any of this sounds good, give us a call.
My name is Bruce Lane. I'm with Telestream as well, and my responsibility is I'm the interface to J2C. So if you have questions, please get a hold of John Chandler. John can take care of your questions, get in touch with us. If anything piques your interest, please let us know.
Thank you, Bruce. Thanks, Telestream team. So the next vendor up is Panasonic, and we're going to introduce Wes Carr as the speaker for Panasonic today. Stand by. So today we have Wes Carr from Panasonic. Wes,
All right.
take it away.
John, thank you so much. Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good St. Patrick's Day. So, in honor of St. Patrick's Day, we actually have a little bit of green light on our racks here, which holds the very innovative and very unique Kairos system. So, let's talk a little bit about what Kairos is. I'm going to get this out of the way for a second. So, Kairos is a platform by Panasonic that enables both the utilization of video resources in a manner that gives you flexibility, creativity, and also output formats that are beyond just a 16 by 9 standard aspect ratio. So you can do a 32 by 9. You may be able to see on the screen over here that we do have that 32 by 9. And with Kairos, more layers than an onion is really kind of the catchphrase. So there's not only what it can do, but it's how you can use it that really makes the difference here. So in an environment where you have challenges with trying to take very complex things and working with, if you look at typical production switcher, lots of buttons, lots of things to work with. We've simplified all of this by utilizing a software interface. The software interface allows us to go ahead and to quickly and easily create different scenes. And these scenes are much like you would use if you were working with, say, Photoshop, and you created, different layers. So the ability, and I'm going to switch to your side here. So if we look at our 3-box on the screen there, and not sure if this will be difficult to show, but we also now have our 3-box here. So if we were to select one of these and we were to go ahead and move it around, you can see how quickly and easily it works in a real live-time environment using a software interface that would be very difficult to use. Now, one of the things you'll see, hey, you know what? Oh, you didn't put it back in the right place. Well, the nice thing, because we're working with software, Control Z actually works. So Control Z, again, using those more modern elements of the software computer interface to be able to create interesting and creative means of utilizing multiple windows. So, multiple windows. How many windows can you create? How many multi-layers can you put together? So, with Kairos, again, as the saying goes, more layers than an onion. It now really comes down to how much horsepower the computer has. So, you think about it from the standpoint of how much CPU power, how much GPU power. And if you look at what we have, you know, on our video wall over here, we have quite a few pits going on, quite a few elements that are being put together. And then if we look at our gas gauge, we're really only using 24%. So we still have tons of headroom on this system. So the ability and the power to create lots of scenes, save those scenes so that you're able to quickly and easily recall them is really tremendous. So it does have the ability to bring our footage in either through baseband and then convert it into SMPTE 2110, or take SMPTE 2110 in natively. And SMPTE 2110 is uncompressed, can be uncompressed as a format, an IP-based format, a SMPTE standard, but we can also take SRT as a digital IP signal, as well as NDI. So multiple ways to bring the signals into the Kairos system and Kairos platform. So stepping over here, one of the elements here is we look at this very interesting, you know, control panel. We don't necessarily need to operate Kairos using the control surface. We can actually just interface with Kairos through the software. But on the panel, one of the things that looks very nice is that all of our scenes, as we've created them, are actually listed here. So you can see we have our 3-box up here, labeled 3-box, and right next to it is 2-box. And so the ability to switch between a 3-box and a 2-box, very, very easy to do. One of the other factors that's really, really nice about this and simplifies the operation of what would otherwise be a relatively complex control panel is that with these layers, we actually have our sources. And if you'll notice, they smart switch between. So as I go to my 3-box, I can look here and I can see there's a row of blue, yellow, light blue, and purple. I'm going to come over here to the software for 1 second. So let me go ahead. We're going to come back up here and let's take a look. So you see we have a cyan box right here, which represents our sailing ship over here. If you look right here, we have our cyan colors. And so now if I wanted to go ahead and change that source, you can see it's nicely labeled, very quick, very easy to be able to select the different types of sources that you might want to put into any of those boxes. So again, really smart delegation on the switcher to be able to really control this easily. I mentioned before, do you need this entire control panel? No, you don't. Because if you go back over here to software, sorry to go back and forth on you guys, we do also have the ability to look at our switcher in a completely software style of configuration. So we have the ability to work it not only from a control panel, from software, but also integrate with other third-party pieces as well. Just also as a note, we're actually looking at all of this on a couple of our thin bezel displays, and we have these put together in a nice configuration to give us our multi-views, which just has 2 native multi-view outputs, up to 36 pips per multi-view, but we can also create unlimited multi-views and unlimited pips through the Kairos system. So Kairos, more layers than an onion, but it's hard to really take in everything that Kairos is able to do in one, conversation. So we certainly invite people to go ahead, work with John, get us involved. We can do online demonstrations. We can also do some in-person demonstrations. We'll be at NAB, so we certainly welcome opportunities to continue the conversation. It's a very interesting platform with lots of different ways that you can use it and look at it. So we do appreciate that. And of course you can see, up here is a good example of using that 32 by 9 type of output and able to go ahead and span it across. It is not just two 16 by 9s put together, it is a true 32 by 9 raster that we're able to create and use right here. So we'll take a quick look here if you want to see. We can actually see the entire graphic and be able to move that entire graphic all the way across, not having to worry about any kind of boundaries, but able to go ahead and bring it across. So it is a true 32 by 9, but we can also do other aspect ratios as well. In the world where we have many LED displays that are in non-16 by 9, this becomes a great platform to be able to bring all of your signals in. And when you bring all of your signals in, the other thing to keep in mind, you don't need to go ahead and conform them to a specific format or frame rate. So we can take a 720 24-piece signal and a 4K signal and be able to bring them all together. So here on the screen, this kind of gives us a sense of our range, anywhere from a 720 24 all the way through up to a 4K 60 input. And again, since this is a software-based system, not based on hardware FPGAs, as time goes along, K-Rose may also be able to develop and conform to other standards as they come up. So lots of capability, lots of flexibility. Again, really taking what was been difficult to do before and simplifying it and bringing it about in new and interesting ways. We're going to take a look over here. We'll step over. K-Rose, please continue to investigate, engage. It takes a little while to get used to it and understand everything that it can do and all of its power. But once you've gone through that process, you will be really amazed. So we're going to go ahead and slowly work our way down over here. Okay, so here we have the AWUE 150 camera. This is our PTZ camera that is definitely our flagship camera, and I would dare say is also a flagship camera for the industry. It is a native 12K camera. It has 12G output. It has an SFP case, so you can output fiber, as well as also a 1080 output and HDMI output. All outputs are simultaneously active. Additionally, since this is a network-based camera, it does have PoE++ power, so we're able to power it up over the PoE++. In addition, we also have streaming output from the camera. So it does have SRT natively, so you can output directly SRT, and you also have the ability to go ahead and upgrade if you wanted to get a license for NDI-HX and have NDI-HX capability. So we're going to go ahead and Bob, you can, I think, yeah, we might come around this way a little bit. We have control over this through our traditional hardware controllers, but we are also utilizing our software that has auto tracking capability. So right now we have Bob running the camera, and if you can see on our screen right here, this has a little yellow box that is flashing up, and as that little yellow box flashes up, it's recognizing Bob's facial features and is then able to then go ahead and identify him. We also have our red box, and that again starts associating additional information so that from the standpoint of saying, okay, who is Bob? Well, okay, we see Bob, we know his face, we kind of now sense his hair, we know something a little bit about his clothing, his demeanor, how he walks and so forth. So Bob, let's see, do you have a shot here of the screen? Okay, so maybe if you can lock it down, or do you want me to hold the camera for a second, we'll ask you to go ahead and we'll take a little walk back. And as we do so, the camera will then go ahead, if we turn the tracking on, we'll go ahead and start tracking with him. So as we're walking along, it is tracking, so go ahead, Bob, you come on up, and our camera is now keeping Bob in frame. Again, as it hits those yellow boxes, it is now also tracking with him. So there you go. You can go back over to the camera. So what we're seeing there is actually a stream coming out. So it looks a little choppy there, but if we're actually looking at it on the screen itself, it is a very fluid motion. So all of our PTZ cameras have the ability to work with our auto tracking, or I should say almost all of them. There are some that from the older generations that do not, and a few of the new ones that we haven't used right now for outdoor cameras, etc. I don't think anybody's used those for auto tracking as of yet. But our factory is always listening. If you have a need for that, let us know. We do also have regular RCP control. So if you need to control your imagery, we have the ability to control imagery here with our HRP. The nice thing about this HRP is our HRPs work with our PTZ cameras. They work with our studio cameras. They also work with our field cameras. So this gives us a wide range of control capability on a single unit. So it really makes deployment of a broadcast facility where you might have multiple cameras and you really need to control them. Very nice, very easy to do. So let me introduce you over here to our 8K camera. So this is a native 8K censored camera. So with this camera, it is a large imager. It is native 8K. We currently have an EF lens on this camera, and we're able to take the 8K as a signal output directly that you could bring and record or process, but we also have the ability to take that 8K signal and then also utilize it so that you can now have multiple HD crops out of that 8K. So if we look at our controller here, so we have, we'll look at box 3 here. So you can see we have box 3, and maybe we'll go in here and we'll look at this the sign over here. So we have the ability to do that, and I'm not sure if it's terribly easy to look at it on the screen, but we do have that capability to show it there. Excuse me, and pop that up there. So now we're looking at our image, that we have framed up there. So we have the ability to go ahead and work with multiple crops simultaneously. We can also take a 4K crop out of this, as well as then a full image of the entire system. So this is a system that we have called 8K ROI, region of interest, and it does provide you the ability to get multiple camera images out of a single camera, and is also tethered via fiber. So we have the ability to go ahead, remotely deploy this, and have control through our CCU and through our software remotely. So it becomes a very nice, very effective system to be able to utilize in a multitude of applications, from production to more operational television and observation types of environments. So again, we thank you very much for your time and attention today, and we certainly appreciate you taking that time to watch, and certainly want to encourage you to reach out to John. Give us the opportunity to talk to you more directly about anything that you guys might be interested in seeing, demoing. Myself, Wes Carr, I'm actually based in Central Florida. We have another fellow, actually our cameraman, who is actually more than a cameraman, Bob Hawkinson, is also in Central Florida. We'd be glad to go ahead and do some demos, meet with you guys, evaluate what kind of applications you might have, and be glad to go ahead and see if we have something that will really fit your needs and help you guys accomplish your mission. Thank you so much, and John, thank you.
Wes, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated.
My pleasure.
So next up on the list will be Imagine Communications. And we have Mr. Dave Buck, who is the channel manager for Imagine Communications for the nation. Dave?
Thank you very much. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I am, as John mentioned, Dave Buck. I work with Magic Communications. I've been with the company for over 25 years and really enjoy working here in broadcast technology like you just saw with our friends at Panasonic. As part of the Panasonic booth, we have one of our new products, the Selenium Network Processor, in their booth, operating with the Kairos switcher, which is really a new paradigm in switching. It's not just a switcher that does 2110, which is technology that we do very well as in addition to them. For those not familiar with our company, we've been in business since the 1930s, and let's get this going. We are based out of Denver, Colorado. Our customer base is very, very wide. We've been in business with companies anywhere from like a Charter or Comcast to media companies like CBS and ABC and Fox and globally. We also do business with houses of worship, federal government, which is why we're here today. So we do a lot of different products in our portfolio, and the thing that we're going to be announcing at NAB this year, and we're talking about a little bit today, is our new Aviator platform. And the Aviator platform is a bundle of our technologies that we've designed interoperable workflows in between each one. Magic Communication builds products that do revenue optimization, commercial scheduling, advertisement, program scheduling. We also have technologies that allow us to bring in information, content from remote solutions, remote event centers, remote workflow buildings. And then what we can do is we can store that content and then allow edits. And whether you're in the building or external or available via the cloud, we can do things like that. Then what we do is we can play that content out. We can reach your viewers on whatever device they're on. And then what we do from that standpoint also is we can create video on demand files and things like that. So what we do is we enable media companies, whether they're government, broadcast, commercial, cable, and we allow those companies to monetize their assets, repurpose them so that they can maximize revenue, and then also be able to deliver reliable information to their back office systems. What we're showing here today is our Selenium Network Processor. And this is the device that's in the Kairos rack over there that Wes just showed you. And the idea behind this product is to be able to provide up to 32 channels of HD, SD video in and out via this, via this IP connection to a 100 gig network. This box can also do 8 channels of UHD. So we're able to provide up-down cross conversion for SD, HD, and UHD. Depending upon the formats you're using, that means the quantity of the ports will change. If you want to use it in an SDI to SDI mode without any network connection whatsoever, we're okay with that. This product supports it. We can do 16 channels in of HD or SD and 16 channels out. The other nice thing about this, in addition to the cross conversion, it does frame syncing. Again, we can do it in SDI or IP. The other benefit is that we can do HDR, SDR conversion as well. So from that standpoint, if you need HLG, PQ, whatever kind of feed you need, we can bring in one and then create the multiples, including SDR as well. So for those customers that need an SDR view, we can do that as well. So this box is very, very powerful. We also have personalities that allow us to use it for multi-viewing and able to do JPEG XS as well. We'll be releasing that feature later this summer. JPEG XS will allow us to do cloud to ground or ground to cloud applications in addition to that. So when we talk about our technology, we have these SFPs in the center as well, and that allows us to connect additional fiber connections. So if you have multiple PTZ cameras and you want to bring those in via fiber, you can bring them into this box. They could be 12 gig each one, and then we'll create a 2110 stream that then the Kairos can manipulate and produce a final output. Now these are bi-directional, so the user defines if they need to be inputs or outputs. So it's a very, very powerful tool that allows the customers to do whatever they need to do. You've got quad split. You can use 4 UHD connections, and we'll do 3G, 3G, 3G. If you got 12 gig single wire, we just use that one connector right there. You want to put fiber in, right there, right? So that's a very, very powerful tool. And again, like we described, if you don't have IP in your initial deployment and you want to do 8 UHD in, 8 UHD out on these center SFPs, we can accomplish that as well. And that'll allow you to use it for SDI today, because SDI's got a long shelf life, even today. When you do go 2110 or IP connectivity, we're ready to go with you. So you can repurpose 100% of the product investment. Another thing we're talking about today is the JPEG XS, and this allows us to do remote connectivity between 2 systems. You got an office, a media center in New York, a media center in Dallas. We can connect the 2. If you add another link in LA, now we can link all 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. A large number of our customers have multiple sites that they bring all the remote cameras from event centers and then do the production in the main facility. And then this saves on operational costs, but it also means you have the really cool equipment at your main NOC, and you don't have to replicate that technology everywhere. That way you maximize your investment. The other thing that we do really well is the ground to cloud and cloud to ground. And that uses JPEG XS technology, which is already in the box, in the SMP. But again, we're adding that as we speak to do even more with the Amazon Cloud Services and Microsoft. Another thing we're talking up today is our Magellan Control. And Magellan Control is the product that makes a 2110 network complete. So what it does is it's the operator positions for the remote control panels and things like that. And this is one of our engineering views. The idea behind this visualization is you have your sources and destinations for your router. Very simply, what you'll do is you'll click on a source and you'll just drag it into this open area here, and then everywhere this source goes across your router will be identified and drawn out by the solution real time. It's like dynamic visualization of wherever that signal's going. So before you make a change, for example, your new 8K camera, where's it going? Well, I can pull it on here and it will remap everything on where this is going. And now what you can do in addition to that is you can click on a source or a destination or a virtual point, which is identified by a blue color, and then you'll get all the information on what that signal is. Is it 1080i? Is it 720p? Is it UHD? What's the number of audio channels? The colorimetry? All that information will be on that far right panel so that you can make a decision or quickly identify what a problem might be. Another thing we can do with this is on a 2110 network. 2110 network, it'll also bring in additional detail like the IP address of the device that we're talking to, the multicast of the traffic that's going through there, the number of audio channels that are embedded in their multicast information. So it's a very powerful tool, and again, all of this is dynamically drawn based on your request. If you want to see multiple sources, drag 2 sources on there and you can do the comparison. Very powerful tool. This is part of our product line. So for example, a large number of our customers started off this way or are this way today. They have one of our routers, they have our Magellan controllers, and then they've got these familiar router control panels that the operators are used to using. They've got a network switch that actually is vital for connecting everything and making sure everything works together. and then you've got your engineering user interfaces. With our routers, we can also have the multiviewers embedded into the router itself. Oops. And then what we can do from that standpoint is add the components. The SMP, or what we call the Selenium Network Processor, which is this device here. And you upgrade your switch to a 2110 switch, 100 gig, 2110 switch. Now we can make this a 2110 network. Add your 2110 cameras directly to the device. You can still use the router for your SCI sources, your multi-viewing, but as you transition, as you grow, you can add more solutions to your 2110 network. So you don't have to do a forklift replace. If you want to, we can do that, but you can ease into it. Another core technology that we're talking about here at the show is our Versio platform, and we have a couple slides on that as well. And our Versio platform, like our 2110 platform products, solutions, are part of our Aviator workflow. The Versio is a device or a product family that allows us to do ingest of content. It's on your servers. It goes onto your storage. We can provide IOX Express, which is part of the HPE family of hardware. That's a great technology leap from the standpoint of support. If there's a problem with the system, we take the call. But if it's an HPE, let's say, for example, a hard drive failed, if it's covered under the HPE plan, it will be, they will dispatch a new drive to you, and in cases where you need it, on-site local support to help do the install. Very powerful tool. That's why we chose to go with HPE. But so you've got the ingest onto the IOX Express storage. Content Portal moves the content between the various locations so that you're able to have that video wherever you need it for whatever system to be played out in. And then you can edit it and make sure it's in the right format, whether it's HD, UHD, SD. We have our automation system, which actually takes the playlist from our scheduling software and then creates the playlist and schedule events to make sure that we can broadcast your signals throughout the day. Versio Control is our automation control. This is for a live operator. So if you have to do graphic insertions on a live newscast, for example, or live broadcast, if you need to do a live insert of new content or bring in a different studio, Studio A, Studio B, we use our Versio Control for that. And then of course we have a large graphic engines that's familiar and collaborative and interoperable with other third-party products like that of Adobe. So this is a really good high-level overview of all of our products here at Imagine Communications. Please stop by today. But as always, if you have any questions, reach out to our friends John Chandler at J2C and his team to give you a good understanding of how we can help and work with your applications. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. I greatly appreciate it. The next up on our list will be TVU. So we're going to move down to their booth, and the speaker will be Al Cornick.
Okay.
Al? So now we're at the TVU booth with Al Cornick. Al?
How you doing, sir? Thank you for having us. I'm Al Cornick here with TVU, and these presentations and channel is brought to you by TVU. There it is. We are coming to you via Panasonic 350 camera, and it's streaming to one of our TVU1s, our mobile cellular-based transmitter. And it's going up to the cloud and coming down on our new TVU channel, which is a virtual cloud channel. What that means is anybody can spin up a TV channel in a matter of minutes. If you can operate a Google Calendar, then you have the ability to program your own channel for government, for entertainment, for medical, educational, anything that you can fill up a full day's worth of programming, put it on a channel, call TVU, we can help you do that, or John Chandler. So just to give you a little bit of insight on what our company is all about. We started out in the TVU transmitter business, making packs and receivers, and have expanded. Our flagship product is for our packs is our TVU1 6 modems, transmitting over our IS Plus. We aggregate, we don't bond, we aggregate the signals, send it to a VS3500 server at your facility, and take out your SDI video and go live on the air. We have quite a few of our packs all around the world. We're one of the major suppliers of the broadcast industry here in the U.S. and around the world. So that's our TVU1 and server. To complement that, we have our TVU Anywhere, which is our phone app, perfect for video journalists, reporters all around the world. They can use the camera as the camera in the phone to send back their live video to your station or your headquarters or your base of operation. That's TVU Anywhere. The phone app is free. It goes either to a cloud server or to our VS3500 servers. It can also go to TVU Party Line and Producer Direct. Talk a little bit about them in a second. So with our servers, we have a lot of abilities to bring our servers in a lot of different formats. We can bring them in HDSDI, HDSDI output, or an IP out with NDI. So we can do that with our server. Some of the products that our server has the ability to do is TVU Grid, Media Mind, Transcriber, and TVU Search. TVU Grid is a file sharing program between a lot of different news agencies. For example, ABC, CNN has their news source and their daily feeds on our grid. So long gone are the days in the newsroom where at 4 o'clock the assignment desk would say, here comes the ABC news feed, make sure everybody's rolling and recording. With Grid we have that so you can see what's going on at all times. You can sit at your desk, have access to the grid, and bring down whatever feeds you need from your network. That trend parlays into TVU Search and TVU Transcriber. TVU Search is when all your video comes in, it's all transcribed and facial recognition or text. So if you're looking for a news story and you want to find out anything about President Biden or Congress or the Phillies or Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady, you just type their name in or a keyword and it will bring up all the associated video clips, metadata, and text associated with that keyword. So that's TVU Search, and that can search in a matter of seconds. Transcriber is a transcribing service that transcribes live video coming in, so you can use it for, it will store everything into TVU Search, and you can also use it for closed captioning. So that's, they are all of the add-ons that work with our servers. And a lot of our servers and all of our equipment is made so once you buy it and you need to upgrade, you don't have to send everything back. It's just a software update, upgrades, and we're future-proof. So things you buy now will last for years. That brings us to our cloud products, which is TVU Producer, Party Line, Remote Control, Remote Commentator, and TVU Channel. TVU Party Line is a people aggregator and a people router. So you bring many guests in from their computers or TVU Anywhere, and you can have a virtual meeting. You can then use that on air. You can send people to different rooms. You can have a mosaic with multiple people participating. You can have a remote commentator as part of TVU Party Line. If you have a production and you can't get the main anchor or the commentator out to, say, the soccer match or the football game or baseball game, they can sit at their home, watch the video coming back to them in sync, and they can do the play-by-play and color from the privacy of their own home. And that's TVU Remote Commentator. You can also, in Party Line, after the game, after the match, after the election, you can bring a speaker in to TVU Party Line in conference mode, press conference, and the reporters can ask them questions and show their concerns and talk and have a one-on-one discussion, move on to the next reporter. So it's a virtual press conference. And that's all working through TVU Party Line. TVU Producer is our cloud-based video switcher that can bring sources in from TVU One, which is our TM1000, can bring sources in from Party Line or TVU Anywhere, our phone app. So TVU Producer comes in a flavor of 4 or 8 inputs, and you can bring graphics in. We work with Singular One to provide graphics, but you can bring in many other graphic platforms into the system via URL. So TVU Producer then can go directly on air with your live video. Everything is cloud-based. There is no hardware or no software stored on your computers with TVU Party Line, with Producer. So that is something that is all cloud-based and easily accessible. So we have Producer Party Line, TVU Grid, Remote Control. TVU Channel, like I explained before, is a virtual channel in the cloud. And if you can program a Google Calendar, you can program TVU Channel. We're coming out with the fast channels, which is free, which is advertising supported TVU channel that you can take part of the revenue in conjunction in partnership with us here at TVU. And the last product that I want to talk about is our RPS system, remote production system for sports, for live entertainment. And what that is an encoder on one end where you can plug either 4 or 6 SDI camera feeds going in through a hardwired hard line to a decoder back at your station, and you can take out either 4 or 6 SDI signals and put them into your switcher and carry on with your production. No need to roll a production truck on site. Everything can be done remotely. So 4 or 6 cameras with SDI output into the RPS system, coming back over a hard line into the decoder back at the station. Another way we do remote production is through TVU Producer, TVU Party Line, TVU Anywhere. You can also take 4 packs and put them in time lock, and time lock is where you can sync all 4 cameras up at the same time, so everything's coming in at the same time. So that's 4 packs with time lock. We also have a 4K pack, and with the help of our friends from AJA, you can put a little converter into the 4K pack, split that up into 4 HD SDI inputs, send it over to 4 receiver outputs, all in time lock with our TVU quad lock, and bring everything back in and all in time, and everything will be synced up. So that's it from TVU here at the show. If there's any questions, feel free, call John Chandler. John knows how to get a hold of myself. And our master, I'm not sure where he's at, Raymond. He snuck out here, but if you have any questions, John will be able to help you out and get you set up with the right folks. Thanks and have a great day.
Greatly
Thank you, sir.
appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Our next guest speaker is going to be Equitus.
I'm going to listen to you. I wasn't sure Bobby is. Oh, here comes.
Can we move this out the way here?
So we're back again. Sorry about the moving the camera the way that we have. Better planning next time. So with us today we have Joe Dom from Equitus. Equitus is a social media data and analytics, but actually it's a data fiber and digital fabric. Thank you for the correction. Analytics company. They're able to scan 130 million social media sites worldwide in real time and provide data and analytics and actionable intelligence on that. So with that, Joe, please take it away.
Hey, hello everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Just want to tell you a little bit about Equitus. Equitus is a company built by former special operators who worked in the intelligence community for a number of years and got frustrated with the tools that were available to them. So they went out and they created their own open data fabric. And what it is the Equitus Open Fabric is a ecosystem where you can bring all your data into one place. You don't have the silos where you don't have access to other data within your enterprise. On top of that, if you do need to limit access to data, you can also do that through various tools and such. But what it also does is, unlike a lot of the other tools that are out there, there's a lot of tools that do different things for intelligence. Equitus has all the tools in one place. We have social media analytics and open source intelligence analytics where you can go out and you can collect the data, bring it into the ecosystem, compare it with the data that you already have in your enterprise, and find connections, find sentiment on things, we use it for targeting applications, a bunch of different applications. I personally am the Director of Government Acquisitions. I write a lot of proposals for the company, and we have a tool called Equitus Text Analytics. And the text analytics feature of the Open Fabric allows you to go in. I can take a document, I can highlight a word in it, and I can look and immediately find where that word is in another document that I've written in the past or that we have written in the past. That is something that any of you that are proposal writers out there know that if you go and you do that, you go to your Explorer, you open a file, you look through it, you look through that, and I could do in 5 minutes what it used to take me hours to do. On top of that, we also have advanced intelligence analytics that help you find connections across your enterprise between data that was previously siloed. In addition to that, we have a knowledge management system. It's part of that is the text analytics, but as you're looking through your documents and such, and you find that what you're looking for isn't there, you can, within the tool, go out to the open sources, whether it be the internet, the darknet, or whatever you have API'd into there, and immediately find what you were looking for and that other data that you were looking for. We have geospatial intelligence too. We can take that data and we can put it on a map. We can show you relationships between sentiment, between objects. Like I said, this is one thing we use for targeting. We can go and we can look at an item. We could compare it to a high priority target list and come up with a confidence level of whether that's the target that we're looking for or not. And then finally, we have video analytics too, and we're in the process of revamping this. And by October, I think we're going to have a really advanced video analytics, but basically facial recognition, target analysis, those kind of things, all in one place. The other cool thing about text about the Equitus Open Data Fabric. We have all these tools, but a lot of times you may have a tool that you like better. Our system is open architecture and open API, so you can hook in anything that you want. A lot of other companies, you're tied into their tools, you're tied into their data. They could charge you for continued use of the data that you already have. We don't do that. We're open architecture. We help you protect your investments in data and other tools, and we can immediately hook that into our system as long as they're open architecture too. So with that, I think that's about it. I thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can call me, Dr. Joe Dom. I'm at 813-493-3286. Thank you.
This is
Your intro guy?
my intro guy, but
Your hype guy?
we can probably go ahead and get started without him. You let me know whenever we're ready. Oh, well, here comes John.
Apologies, folks. Thank you, Joe. So next up on our list is Cinemassive, and we have Brad Orm, who is the channel manager there for Cinemassive. So Brad, the floor is yours.
All right, thanks, John. So just a quick update. We are Cinemassive. Cinemassive is actually now part of the Haivision MCS team, which is Mission Critical Solutions. So our team our combined entity provides many things. On the Haivision side, traditionally video encoding, decoding, transcoding. So we basically take video from wherever you need it, say from an aircraft, from a man-worn device, or any kind of camera, move it across the network. And whether it's a WAN or LAN or any other or microwave, any kind of narrowband network, and then we receive that and display it, and that's where the Cinemassive side comes in. Cinemassive is a video processing and control room company, so we take video from all kinds of sources. Could be streaming videos that could be encoded coming off once again from those ISR platforms. We also take in baseband video inputs like HDS to HDMI. We can bring in laptops, VTCs, any kind of multimedia devices, cable DV tuners, and then we allow you to arrange all of that content across whatever display canvas you need it to be. In this setup, I'm just working with two different monitors. This is actually a 4K monitor, and this is an 8K monitor. We can also do traditional video wall setups using LCD video walls, also direct view LED or projection. Any display system doesn't matter to us. It can be really, really large. It can be only one or two monitors. Either way, it all works in the same kind of manner and fashion. What we've done is we build an array of video processors. This is our Strike Alpha Strike FX. It's a tactical processor designed and ruggedized for forward operating positions and TOCs. This brings in 4K direct inputs. It can also capture another 16 1920 by 1080 video streams, and it outputs 4 4Ks. So you can feed 4 4K monitors, or as many as 16 1080 monitors, so as big as an 8x2 video wall out of this tiny little processor. We also make video processors that are larger, card-based chassis systems for fixed operation centers. We can handle literally hundreds of inputs across dozens and dozens, even hundreds of displays. And what we do is stitch all that together with a very, very easy to use interface. We call that Cinenet. I'll just show you a little bit about how that works right here. I'm controlling this left monitor right now, so if I hit that button right there, it clears everything off the screen and goes back to that standard black background. I want to bring content on the screen. It's really easy. Drag and drop. You'll see the source shows up. If I want to bring on another source, I just drag and drop that. If I want to adjust the source, I can move it like that. I can also expand it. Not sure why the coloring is a little off on the monitor there, but and then if I want to bring additional sources, same thing. I just drag and drop, and I'm able to build out whatever operational picture that I need to see. When I'm happy with it, I can go ahead and hit save and create a new preset. Rather than do that, I'm just going to recall one of the presets that I've already created. So this is the preset that I was showing before. So you'll see here, I recall one of these presets. I can edit, add, delete as many presets as I want, change them whenever I want. Once I call them, I can do lots of neat things. I can do on-screen annotation. So this is a circle tool. So if I want to highlight a piece of content, I can do it. And if I miss, I can also put it where it needs to be. I can also do free-form drawing tools. So I can go over here and highlight a critical piece of information, whether it be a piece of imagery, map. It can also be on top of motion videos. If I want to circle those boats like that, I can also draw attention to anything on there using my integrated annotation tool. I can also control multiple display canvases. So I was controlling this monitor. I'm going to move over now to this monitor that's on my right. I'm going to switch sides real fast. So this is the 8K monitor that we have up right here. So this user interface will load in just a quick moment. Does help if I go to the right one. There we go. So this is now we're actually feeding this to an 8K monitor. We can our video processor once again has 4x 4K, so I could feed this monitor an entire full 8K worth of resolution out of this processor. Because I'm doing two monitors, I'm actually just feeding this 4K and it's up to scaling to 8K. But no matter the case, I've got the ability to, if I get to the right canvas, to control multiple display walls simultaneously. So I can now make adjustments over to this wall. I can make content down to all kinds of various different sizes. So I can shrink that all the way down there. You'll see here I've got a little background image. That's what that flag is on the background. But I've got basically full flexibility to move and adjust content however I want. I can do things like adjust transparency and opacity of the images, so I can actually make this image be less opaque, so that I can actually see through it. So I can put content on top of content. I can also so I can do things like this. You can see here I put that content on top of it. I can also then adjust the transparency at any point. I'm going to pull that back for the moment. I can also do things like border and label content, adjust put a persistent name on it. I can use that to help me identify geography, domain, classification level, anything that I want. But also, you'll also notice across the top here, I've got a bunch of time zone clocks. We natively generate those time zone clocks, so it allows people to easily add time zone clocks to any display canvas they might have in the room. So you can put it on your video wall. Some people will also just dedicate certain displays to these clocks. Makes it a lot easier than the traditional multi-time zone clocks. And I can sync these with network time if I need to keep hyper accurate time. I can even include NTPs. Or PTP cards as well to keep these synced for folks that are doing like launch applications and similar. The real magic for us is really providing a simple, easy to use user interface that allows people to manage lots of content across lots of different displays. And none of this requires any custom programming. And you do not need to get locked into something like a Creston or AMX solution that requires a programmer to make any changes. Everything is done and configured within our software. It's easy to restore and back up. It runs on a Windows 10 server platform, so information assurance is all very streamlined and easy to work on. I'm Brad Orm. I covered all of the DoD enterprise applications, as well as anyone that launches. So that includes folks like NASA, SpaceX, any Office of Space Launch, Space Force, etc., along with all the DoD and all the combatant commands. If there's anything that I can be helpful for, please don't hesitate to reach out. Phone number 571-243-0134. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you, Brad. We're going to take a break right now for about 30 minutes, and you'll enjoy the videos afterwards. Thank you very much.
There's a guy named Argo who is going to be here and